Arise. So, sup, Chucklefucks? It's your boy, Dark Raku here with What If Issei was like Jin-Woo. And yes, I did say arise in the beginning because fuck you, I'm gonna say it. Of course, there's not, I was going to try to use like mostly a voiceover, but since the anime hasn't come out, that's the thing. I was actually searching on YouTube for a while, but I was gonna just say fuck if I use my voice. But not the point. So let me begin into this what if. Before I actually continue, I know I'm gonna do what's it called Virgil, or well, mostly the what if Issei was betrayed and was a reincarnation of Virgil and had the system later, probably tomorrow, because I already rewatched two what ifs today, pretty much during work. I was like, fuck it, I'll do it during work. I'm already doing work, and I probably won't be able to have time at home. So the two what ifs I kind of rewatched was basically the Soulskizer one and mostly this one. So yeah. So of course this is part what's it called? So this is part 3 of this what if. So let me begin into this what if and let me shut the fuck up. Now yesterday I had zero sleep because I slept until 2 o'clock. Yes, I'm an idiot, but yeah, you get the point. Now at the point, let me begin into this what if, and yeah. Now, why I'm so hyper is probably because I ate some candy and just said, fuck it, I need to be hyper. But not the point, let me begin. So, we go into Issei. Issei right now in a dungeon. This is where, not entirely. Well, he is in a dungeon. Right now, he's actually in a B rank dungeon. Right now, punching the shit out of, it's not a B rank dungeon. It's actually mostly actually him getting not no let me say it again. Yeah, it's actually a B rank dungeon, and of course this is where we go into Issei right now, him saying arise. This is where he arises his shoulders already because he's right now a shadow lord. So yeah, he's his classes was necromancer, then became shadow lord. I will explain, I will not explain how he actually got it. All you gotta think about is how Jin-Woo got it. But yeah. But this is where, and behind him arises two commander elites. But yeah. One is Icarus and the other one is mostly his other one that he kind of got during a battle when he was actually getting his like jobs. Now, of course, this is where, this other one is actually, what's it called? Most of the other one is actually an ice self, and that is none other than the Baruka, the guy that mostly the ice self that mostly Jin will kill in what's it called? Mostly that one red gate kind of dungeon. This is where mostly in this one, Issei managed to kill him, and of course managed to arise him. It's completely different, but yeah. But this time he didn't have to go to a red dungeon because it's not similar to like Jin-Woo. It's completely different, but yeah. Now, we will go into mostly Issei being him. Well, right now he's actually 51 right now. And right now he's actually going through a B rank dungeon and right now trying to defeat someone known as, King Arthur. Because he's right now in a kingdom. Mostly called mostly the kingdom is called Camelot. But yeah. This is where, he's right now fighting against King Arthur in mostly the system. Because the system really just put him to go into not a B rank dungeon. This is completely an S rank dungeon, or kinda. But right now he's actually not S rank dungeon. It's it is King Camelot, but this is not a full power. What's it called? King Arthur. This King Arthur is like the beginning of like King for King Camelot. But yeah. So of course it is a B rank dungeon. I will go on with what's it called an S rank dungeon that will also kind of count as King Camelot, but don't worry about it. Or the Kingdom Camelot, but don't worry about that. This is where, we go into Issei right now fighting against this, mostly somewhat beginning King Arthur somewhat. But yeah, King Arthur swings a golden sword called Excalibur, and this is where when he swings the sword, it annihilates everything that was behind, Issei. Issei won his eyes. Luckily, he managed to jump. But this is where, the one pressure managed to smash him into the wall. But yeah. Actually, you know what? This is an S rank dungeon, never mind. Because King Arthur's quite powerful, but not the point. This is where, Issei is right now is just breathing really hard, but luckily his, Shadow Soldiers are managing to destroy the, somewhat human soldiers system, whatever, in this dungeon, but yeah. This is where, well, he was about to get fucking kicked in the face by King Arthur by his like metal boots. So I should mention how King Arthur looks like. He has golden armor and of course has like this orangey hair and purplish eyes. So if you want to think about it, he looks like the one from, well, Seven Deadly Sins, but he is not in his King cast form. That will be another form, but don't worry about that. This is where, well, Issei is right now about to get kicked by, well, King Arthur. This is where, well, Issei managed to dodge his head to the right, and this is where he decided to punch at King Arthur in the face, right now launching him straight to a wall. This is where, well, Issei is sighing, but this is where, well, he's actually grinning like a madman. This is the most fun he ever had. This is where, well, he then pulls out a dagger, mostly the blue serpent dagger that's poisonous and other things, and another dagger that mostly be able to kind of pierce through armor. This is where, well, it's mostly a dagger that he bought during the time he was fighting against Icarus, but yeah. This is where, well, his eyes started kind of glowing purplish malicious color, so yeah. It was supposed to be blue, but mostly when he unlocked his powers, mostly his job, Shadow Lord. Well, clearly it's just a lower version of the Shadow Monarch, but just yeah. But for right now, his eyes are purple. The reason why it's purple, well, it's not Shadow Lord that he actually unlocked. Well, it is Shadow Lord, but yeah. But of course, it's kind of like, well, it is so much Shadow Lord and Shadow Monarch together. The reason why is because when he unlocked what's it called, when Dragonfall was about to hit him last time, it was going to like try to take down his life form, because that's what Dragonfall does, and even the pieces were about to corrupt. But mostly the system managed to take out the like corrupt pieces, and mostly when Dragonfall tried to corrupt, well, Issei, mostly Dragonfall was blocked from the fact that Issei is kind of immune to all diseases, even Dragonfall, and also the corrupt pieces. So yeah, but still it did kind of affect him, kind of being closer to death. But yeah, that's why his eyes are purple. And he is more connected to the darkness. So of course he is the Shadow Lord, but it's mostly called Shadow and Darkness Lord. So yeah, this is where, well, we go back into Issei fighting against King Arthur. King Arthur swings his sword straight towards Issei, but this is where Issei blocks it with both of his daggers. This is where, well, the clash of both powers are just going wild. This is where, well, King Arthur's kind of like holy light energy versus Issei's dark malicious energy. This is where, well, they both start kind of like clashing with each other in high speeds, destroying everything that's around them in an instant. This is where, well, Issei tries to right now pierce with the blue serpent dagger. This is where, well, it hits King Arthur, but this is where the armor is pretty tough. So of course, this is where King Arthur swings his sword down, trying to, well, hit Issei with what's it called, Excalibur. But this is where Issei managed to dodge out of the way and use the other dagger to pierce through the armor, managed to cut it, and this is where Issei then stabs the blue serpent dagger into that, well, cut that he made. This is where, well, it hit King Arthur, and this is where King Arthur goes. This is where he coughs up some blood. And also, he did decide to get like these blue veins on his like mostly torso, because it's the poison. This is where, well, King Arthur has the health of over, well, mostly 10,000, but yeah. And this is where, well, King Arthur then just tried to swing again, mostly Excalibur straight towards Issei, and Issei managed to dodge. This is where Issei says, damn, this motherfucker's strong. This is where, well, Barricule and also, well, Icarus appear right now fighting against, well, King Arthur. Now, of course, this is where Issei says, let's do this. This is where, well, both Icarus and even Barricule does get in guard. This is where Barricule has both daggers, and right now, Icarus has his sword. And it's not the sword that mostly Jin-Woo gives him in, like, that one time. Okay? It's still just a normal sword. This is where, well, Issei right now, let me say it again. Issei throws the dagger, that's mostly the piercing dagger, straight towards mostly King Arthur. King Arthur could barely even dodge because he couldn't because of the Pearl still. This is where, well, he gets stabbed in the right shoulder, and this is where, well, he then gets bombarded by both Icarus and even Barricule. This is where, well, he could not dodge Icarus' kind of slash attack to his like chest, which mostly towards his like stomach chest area, and this is where he gets hit by the sword and right now launched to the back of the wall, right now crashing into it. Gah! This is where, well, King Arthur was about to use his mostly holy Excalibur. This is where like this sword was like glowing up with so much holy energy. But before even charging it up and be able to launch it, this is where Berku actually appears right in front of him, stabbing both of mostly the arms, mostly the shoulders, with both daggers. This is where Arthur winds his eyes, and this is where Arthur looks at Berku, and Berku just smiles at him with such a sinister grin. But yeah, he still kind of has the whole mostly evil side, but yeah. This is where Issei then appears right in front of, King Arthur, grabbing him from mostly the armor plate of, like, the chest plate, pulling him forward towards Issei. Issei punches him in the face, but not just using any normal fist, the boosted gear. This is where Issei says, Shadow Dragon Fist! This is where, he punches the shit out of, King Arthur, launching him in through multiple walls. This is where, Issei then kind of puts his arm out, mostly just stretching it out, mostly the gauntlet. And this is where, someone then starts talking, saying, "What the fuck is happening? What? Issei, what is happening?" This is where, Issei says, "Right, I forget that I actually put you to sleep most of the time. And that's why I don't use this gauntlet. But right now it's in a serious situation, because I did kind of go into an S-rank dungeon." This is where, mostly, right now, Drake is saying, "Issei, for the love of God, just explain what is happening." Issei said, "I would explain, but right now I'm fighting against King Arthur, so I probably won't have time." This is where, mostly Drake says, "Hold up, motherfucker, what do you mean you're fighting against King Arthur? Wait, no, King Arthur should be dead." This is where, Issei said, "Yeah, he's supposed to be dead." Well, probably he's dead from the fact that we both punch. I punched the shit at him with the Shadow Dragon Fist. This is where, Drake says, "Okay, you're now making new attacks without me. What the fuck, Issei?" Issei said, "Okay, I'll explain everything later. Just help me out with fighting against King Arthur. You can see him through my eyes, can't you?" This is where, someone appears through the smoke. It's none other than King Arthur, with the armor, like, halfly broken and, of course, shattered. Like, his chest plate is shattered. And, of course, this is where, mostly, like, leggings are kind of shattered. His gauntlet hands, mostly the gauntlets on his hands, like, they're gold and they were shattered already. This is where, he had, like, leather gloves underneath, and this is where he's still holding Excalibur. And this is where, King Arthur, with his purplish eyes, started glowing menacingly. This is where, he started getting serious. This is where, this is where we go into King Arthur. This is where, "I am King Arthur. I will not let you destroy Camelot. I will defeat you now, once and forever, you evil creature." This is where, mostly Issei said, "I thought he was supposed to call me an evil bastard." This is where, mostly Icarus and Berku just shake their heads, thinking, meh, they don't really know, but yeah. This is where, Issei gets on guard, and this is where, King Arthur says, "I'll show you the true power of King of Chaos." This is where, he goes into a form, and this is where, everything around him changes. He's right now going into, wearing this kind of like red and white outfit. This is where, he's wearing a button-up shirt somewhat, but these have crosses, and mostly the button-up shirt isn't like in the middle to be buttoned up, mostly in the side, but yeah. And this is where, he has a cross, but yeah, mostly those buttons are crosses. And this is where, he's wearing a cape, a red kind of white cape, and this is where, it has a cross, but mostly has the symbol of mostly Camelot. I don't remember what Camelot symbol was again. I think it was a lion. I can't remember. But this is where, his hair right now goes longer, and his eyes become much more purple. Well, one becomes bright purple while the other one becomes dark purple. And his sword is right now a different color. It's both holy and unholy at the same time. I'll show you the true power of Excalibur. This is where Issei says, "Ooh, yeah, this is definitely not our King Arthur from our world." Issei says right now a very interesting tone, but this is where, he then says, "It's no time better than, I should probably stop complaining and start getting ready to fight him." This is where, Issei pulls out two things from mostly his inventory, and they're not daggers. This is where he then puts the blue serpent dagger back in it, but he pulls out two tantos. Well, not two tantos, two medium katanas. Now, these two medium katanas have dragon heads on, mostly when they're kind of the blade and the dragon head, and mostly the handle, so yeah. So mostly the guard, it's kind of like a dragon head. This is where he pulls them out. This is where the two blades are called the twin-headed, twin-headed katanas. well, medium katanas. This is where, well, Issei then spins him around, and this is where he then grabs him firmly with both hands. And this is where he still has the gauntlet in his, what called, mostly, well, right hand. And this is where, well, both Icarus and Perkyo are right now in front of him getting ready. But yeah, or, let me say again. So yeah, this is how Barkyo looks like, I should mention. But yeah, it looks like this. I don't know why I keep saying Barkyo, but it's mostly Baruka. And this is where, well, both Baruka and even Icarus gets on card. And this is where, well, Issei looks at mostly King Arthur, but we go into mostly King Arthur and Issei's battle. Mostly during the battle. Let's do this. Well, mostly we go into it. Blah. So we go into Issei right now, rushing into King Arthur, and this is where King Arthur managed to change the landscape into mostly this like chessy, mostly like chess pattern. And this is where Issei jumps through mostly the wall. Mostly he jumps away from King Arthur because he knows King Arthur was about to explode the ground underneath Issei. Issei was right now on top of, well, mostly the chessboard pattern. He's right now on top, and this is where he landed on a black piece. And this is where, well, he noticed that mostly this place is made with both holy and unholy energy. And he realized one thing. The unholy energy is actually increasing his power. So it's basically a double-edged sword for King Arthur right now. King Arthur is right now in a powerful state, but Issei is right now getting much more powerful thanks to some of the unholy energy. And since he's a shadow, well, mostly he's a shadow and darkness like lord. So yeah, this is where, well, mostly both of his monarchs are getting much more power. Well, not monarchs, mostly both of his like soldiers, mostly Icarus and Barkyu, or not Barkyu. Let me do it again. Baruka is right now kind of also getting much more powerful, and they're rushing towards King Arthur. This is where King Arthur managed to summon out a giant cat to try to take them out. And this is where, well, both of them managed to jump away. And this is where, well, Issei activates, well, Tank, mostly a giant iceberg, to fight against the giant cat. So, of course, that is happening. This is where, well, Issei rushes straight towards King Arthur, with both of his blades right now, like, leading this, like, very like shadowish, sinister energy, and this is where he tries to slash at King Arthur, and King Arthur managed to, well, make a wall appear right in front of him, mostly a magical wall. This is where when Issei swings both the attacks, it destroys the wall, but this is where King Arthur is nowhere to be found. King Arthur is behind Issei, and this is where he swings his Excalibur straight towards Issei. Issei managed to block with both swords in an instant, and thanks to the swords not being able to break because, well, they're made with a special powerful material. Issei then absorbs mostly the holy, well, not the holy energy, but mostly some of the unholy energy from the Excalibur, and swings it back much more powerful straight towards, well, King Arthur. King Arthur widens his eyes and right now gets smashed into the attack. This is where he smashes behind him, but luckily he made it into being jello, so of course he wouldn't be hit too hard, but still he gets his HP lowered down. This is where, well, mostly Tank, Icarus, and even Barkyu are, or let me say that again. Yeah, Barkyu? Wait, no. Baruka is fighting against a cat known as Caffin Cat. I think that's what it's called. Wait, let me remember. Mostly is Calf Palug. And this is where, well, Calf Palug is right now a giant, like, red cat. A very, very disgusting looking cat. But this is where, well, all three kind of major shadow soldiers are right now fighting against, well, this, like, cat look like. This is where Issei's right now fighting King Arthur, but yeah. Now we go into mostly Issei right now fighting King Arthur, and of course, this is where, well, Issei's pretty injured, but at the same time, Arthur is also injured. This is where, well, Arthur is halfway down his health, or not even halfway, he's almost like at, like, a quarter of his health down. This is where, well, Issei is at the same time also hurt. This is where, well, he then tries to drink some potions, but of course that won't really work because he's pretty injured. This is where King Arthur looks at him and says, well, it's time for you to disappear, you vile creature. This is where Issei grins and says, really? Am I going to disappear? Well, let's see if you can kick my ass then. This is where Drake is right now worried about his partner because mostly he sees his partner in a different light. But also at the same time, goddamn, his partner is fighting against King Arthur and it looks like he's in a video game somewhere, like some kind of RPG. Which is confusing because Drake can also see the system stats and other things are popping right in front of Issei, but yeah. So of course this is where, well, Mostly Drake is just seeing this and doesn't work well. He really wants answers. Why the fuck was he asleep? Because he doesn't remember sleeping. The only thing he remembers is seeing Issei in Dragonfall and Corrupted Pieces, and then after that he was asleep. He doesn't remember. He then also feels Issei's magical energy be much more powerful. And also sees those Shadow Souls once again. Now, of course, this is where he wants answers. Really fucking quick. He will get those answers from Issei one way or another. This is where, well, Issei, he's right now really hurt. This is where King Arthur was launching a very powerful attack, being a holy and unholy energy attack, straight towards Issei. Issei won his eyes, and this is where his Shadow Sword tried to protect him. Mostly Icarus and even, what's it called, the others. He just said, oh, fuck. I'm dead. Well, I'm so screwed. I'm so tired, and I ran out of mana stamina a while ago. This is where, well, Drake says, are you really gonna give up, Issei? Issei says, sorry, Drake, but I should also mention, I'm not dying too easily. He looks to the side of him and sees literally a timer. Mostly his, like, best luck of him not doing his, like, daily quest. And just literally the timer running out, and this is where he gets saved by that. This is where he gets teleported, and this is where, well, he's now in the desert biome, but also with his Shadow Soldiers. This is where, well, Issei says, where the fuck are we? Issei says, this is basically a Pentaturium, also known as the fact that I'm gonna heal up and beat the shit out of King Arthur when I get back there. This is where, well, Drake says, what are you, this is where, well, these giant centipedos try to attack Issei with the sword. Issei grins and says, let's do this, boys. Barku? Alright, let me say it again. So, I'm gonna keep forgetting his name, so I'm just calling him Barku at this point. So, yeah. Or mostly Iself. So, like, let me actually call him Permfrost. So, yeah. So, for right now, I'm just gonna call him Permfrost, but yeah. So, just realized I'm gonna call him Permfrost, but yeah. But his actual name is Barku, but whatever. But we go into Issei, and of course, Barku, Icarus, and Tank right now fighting against these centipedes. Now, of course, this is where Issei leveled up a good chunk of like 2 levels. He was 51, now he's 53. This is where his health kind of level up also, mostly getting up there. And this is where he uses health potions, like buy them, and also kind of starts talking to Drake about what is exactly happening here. Drake is listening very intently straight towards Issei. Issei explains everything, and he explains every little fucking detail. That also means why Drake is now purple, and why he is different, and why they are no longer called the Red Dragon Opie Lover, but instead the Shadow Dragon. This is where he doesn't explain about the fact that, well, he does explain about the Shadow Monarch power and other things, and this is where he only explains it now is because Issei is strong enough to just talk about it, because, well, he's not strong enough just yet, just to become a Monarch, but he's going to level up enough to become the Shadow Monarch. He needs a couple more levels to level up. But this is where, well, he then explains and why he wanted to hide away from Drake. He explains that if he told Drake too soon, Drake would try to stop him from doing anything crazy, like warning Azo or something like that. And this is where, well, he didn't want him to warn Azo. He didn't want him to warn Sherzex or even Michael. He wanted them to be in the dark also with Drake. He also wanted Drake to not warn Albion or any of the others, because it would sound so stupid. He wants to do this alone, with the other monarchs helping him, mostly Killua and also his 2 idiotic friends. The 2 idiotic friends are right now level 20, I should mention, but I'll go into that. It's been 1 month since Issei kind of made Drake fall asleep, kind of not permanently, but mostly by the system, just forcibly. This is where, well, the system allowed him to go to make Drake fall asleep. Also, mostly Dragonfall doesn't affect him for only 2 reasons. One, the system kind of gave him a mostly that's like very permanent passion skill that allows him to not get diseases or poison or anything at all. Literally no diseases can affect him because he's like Jin-Woo. But also from the fact that he really didn't have any love to them anymore. So of course he didn't feel that much in Dragonfall. And also the corrupt pieces were injected from him, but the system kept him alive, so yeah. And he's also closer to death, not the point. This is where, well, He explains that the Shadow Monarch, which is the next level from being the Shadow and Darkness Lord, is the Shadow Monarch, and that is basically literally the king of the undead, or also known as Death. This is where, well, when Drake was hearing all this, he literally was quiet the whole time. He then let Issei finish, and this is where, well, Drake said, Issei, I want to tell you something. Issei said, yeah? I know. Okay, so let me get this straight. In 3 months, mostly now it's 2 months, but in 2 months you want to fight against, well, not Sir Orcus, yes? And you're planning to at least become the Shadow Monarch during that time. Maybe a week and say, But you want to beat the shit of him to show that you're no longer a devil, to show that you're now much more powerful than any of the damn devils. So, when people try to hunt you because you're now astray, consider astray since you left Rias and her barrage and tell them to actually F the fuck off. Do you think Sir Zex will be powerful enough to stop you? Probably not. Okay. And you're considered a monarch? Yes. And you're going to have to fight against the evil monarchs? Yes. And you want me not to warn Azo or any of the others about you as a monarch and those evil monarchs? Because that is your fight alone to fight against. Yes. With the other monarchs? Yes. Issei? Yeah? I fucking hate you. You could have told me. We were literally brothers, but you didn't trust me that much, did you? Hey. It's not my fault you literally talk to mostly Azo when I'm asleep. I don't know what's your mouth gonna slip through. I can't trust you fully. Okay? I'm sorry. I know we're brothers, and I treat you as a friend and other things. But I need to be more secretive and much more smarter through mostly being tactful in my plans. So yeah. So if devils see you, do you think they're gonna just hunt you down because you're astray? Pretty much, but that doesn't matter. I'll probably kill them in an instant before even touching me. You do not care, do you? I'm no longer a devil, Drake. Look here. That's where Issei pulls up mostly his stats, but he goes to mostly his specific info now. This is where, well, it says Issei Hyodo. So yes, it says his name. This is where, well, level 53. This is where it goes to all of that, but this is where we're going to info. This is where, well, it says Issei Hyodo, the son of Mika and Goro Hyodo. This is where, well, he is also supposedly the successor of the Shadow Monarch. And this is where, well, we go into mostly other infos like the race. Deaf, mostly he's 50% deaf. And, well, not like deaf like he can't hear. No, he's 50% like the deaf race. Mostly like a Grim Reaper or like actual death. But, or like dead or whatever. But also 50% dragon. Yes, the system like forcibly made him into a dragon. So he's no longer human but a dragon. And that's why he can easily use Drake's powers much more easier. Drake says, Well, Issei, I'm happy that now you're considered a dragon. But I want to get my skills back. I want to be red. So you want to be the red dragon Opie lover, I see. I'm sorry, Drake, but that's not happening. We're going to be considered the dead, well, mostly the death dragon, the shadow death dragon, and there's no questions about it. I'm sorry, Drake. This is where Drake says, you're not sorry. You're happy. This is where, well, he says, I am kind of happy. Drake says, okay, fine. This is where Issei looks down and sees the timer about to hit mostly 1 second. This is where it's right now 10 seconds, and this is where Issei says, well, it's time to fight back against King Arthur. All of you get ready. This is where Tank, Icarus, and even Permafrost gets ready. This is where we go into mostly the battle. Issei appears right in front of King Arthur, and King Arthur still in his chaos form. Chaos King Arthur form. And this is where, well, he regenerated 50, he's right now 50% back, mostly, half health, mostly, 50%, but yeah. This is where, well, mostly Calf is also, half health also, or not half health, mostly a quarter of health. This is where Issei says, take care of the cat, I'll take care of King Arthur. This is where Issei starts fighting against King Arthur, but this is where, well, Issei doesn't do it alone. Mostly Drake actually helps him out. This is where Issei goes, Balance Breaker! Shadow Dragon! This is where he goes into this purple armor figure, and this is where, well, he then pulls out his 2 dragon swords and starts fighting with what they call, well, King Arthur. King Arthur is now being overpowered much more faster thanks to Issei's speed and power and the fact that he can also use something called Shadow Exchange. Mostly he sends Shadow Soldiers to be spreading around the whole kind of like dimension, but yeah. Just so he can use Shadow Exchange and also use also a technique called Dominator telekinesis. It's like a telekinesis that he can use, which he uses his weapon to stab into King Arthur's heart, which King Arthur goes, Tah! He's right now dying. This is where Issei says, I'm sorry, King Arthur, but this is your end. This is where Issei right now punches King Arthur so hard with mostly his right hand, and right now King Arthur gets launched through the dimension while the dimension cracks and shatters into millions of pieces. This is where, well, we go into Issei landing right in front of King Arthur, and this is where Issei is out of his form, mostly the Balance Breaker form. This is where, well, Issei walks straight towards King Arthur, and King Arthur, he's dying slowly, and this is where, well, he looks at mostly Issei and just chuckles and says, I feel like you managed to defeat, well, you actually are powerful, managing to defeat me. Then again, this isn't truly Camelot. Camelot right now disappears into, instead of being kind of sunny and shine, it's all ruins. This is where King Arthur explains that Camelot most fallen a long time ago, so it wasn't even what's it called, a true kind of like beginning. It was actually the end already, mostly the ruins. And every soldier that Issei was fighting was actually mostly undead soldiers, but yeah. Mostly King Arthur explains that this was a version that he wanted to still stay, and because the fact that he's already dead anyway. He knows that he's already dead, and mostly the system was the one to actually bring him back. This is what, well, King Arthur then explains that he doesn't mind serving Issei, as Issei can become the true king, and also, well, whatever. So, of course, Issei does use Arise when he kind of arises King Arthur. I should also mention Issei did level up like 5 levels up, so he's like 58 now. This is where, well, his stats are all pretty good, like similar to that song Jin-Woo, but don't worry about that. This is where, well, King Arthur does arise as a shadow soldier for, well, Issei. And this is where, well, the King Arthur shadow soldier is pretty powerful. He also arises Catherine the Cat, or whatever the hell it is. But yeah. And this is where, well, Issei then gets out of this dungeon. Going back to mostly a different, well, mostly the true world. Mostly out of the dungeon, but yeah. Back to real life. This is where, well, we go into Issei getting out of the dungeon. But we go into Issei kind of meeting up at a place when, well, he needs to rest. But yeah, this is where, well, he walks past someone. This is where, well, a guy with kind of white hair and bluish eyes is kind of younger. I should mention this guy is kind of younger than Issei. He's like 16, but yeah. But this is where, well, mostly, well, yeah, he's 16, and this is where, well, is none other than Killua. Killua is a second, yeah, something like that. This is where, well, mostly he's called the light, well, mostly the Monarch of Storm, but yeah. Or Thunderstorm, but yeah, that's what he is. This is where, well, he looks at Issei and says, you look pretty fucked up. This is where Killua's comment. He says, yup, I was fighting against King Arthur. Mostly something that the system decided to give me a S-rank dungeon. This is where, well, Killua says, you managed to defeat him? Hell yeah. This is where, well, Killua chuckles and says, so what level are you at now? 58. Killua says, dang, you are really below me. And you're basically supposed to be my senpai or something. This is where Issei says, shut the fuck up, Killua. Killua is actually level, well, 60, mostly 65, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei then asks about mostly Matsui and Murahama. This is where, well, mostly Killua explains that Matsui is actually like 28, while, well, Murahama's actually 30, but yeah. This is where, well, mostly Issei nodded and saying, I see. So they're still kind of leveling up pretty slowly, but still strong enough. Where they're at right now, on dungeons right now. They're right now together, kind of doing the dungeons, but yeah. I keep forgetting that you can party up and go into different dungeons, but they make the, well, dungeon much more harder, doesn't it? Yeah, but at the same time easier. Issei has already kind of did a party dungeon together with Killua, But yeah. Now, of course, well, Issei then explain, will ask Killua if there's any new, like, evil monarchs or good monarchs or whatever. Killua explains that he hasn't seen any newer, like, monarchs appear, either that being evil or good, but whatever. This is where Issei nodded and says, well, I'll be going to sleep then. So we go after mostly Issei sleeping and going towards mostly the out of this place. It's mostly the base of our operation for Monarchs. It's mostly a dark place, but yeah, or a different dimension. But he gets to the human dimension. This is where he gets towards mostly a restaurant to kind of get ready to kind of just order something and eat. But yeah, he needs to eat. This is where Issei, it's not a consider. It is considered a restaurant, but he's there alone. But fuck it. But mostly two people sat in front of him, and they just asked if they can sit in front of Issei. There's someone considered yokais, but yeah, this is where mostly Issei looks at them and just shakes his head, saying it doesn't really matter. He just kind of just like lifted up his shoulders and say, I don't know, sure, why not? But yeah. So this restaurant kind of, allows, single people to go in and just like order whatever. It doesn't matter if you have to be with couples or not. But these people were also without couples or like single, but yeah. They seem to be yokais, but yeah. Also, this place is somewhat supernatural, but yeah. So of course the yokais really doesn't matter about showing off their like features. Which mostly the two of them basically had like mostly the first one was basically a girl with very palish, snowy white skin. And this is where, she had kind of chocolate brownish eyes. And this is where she had like snowy white hair with snowy white ears like a rabbit. And also a snowy white tail like a rabbit also behind her. But yeah. This is where, she was wearing a nice like white dress. With her kind of like figure kind of showing, but yeah. Mostly her cleavage and maybe her back, but yeah. Now, of course, she was in kind of the smaller side, but it really doesn't matter. Of course, and her other friend is mostly a girl with kind of like blackish hair, of course, or not blackish hair, mostly like dark chocolate brown hair with golden chocolate brown eyes. Of course, chocolate skin. This is where, she had a very curvy figure, much more bustier than her kind of other friend. But this is where, she was wearing a black dress, but yeah. This is where, they were eating. Of course, the person that came mostly serves all three of them, but yeah. Now, of course, the person knows that these people are just single and not going out with each other, but yeah. Issei is eating, and of course, this is where he had to change his figure. This is where he doesn't look like Issei Hyodo, but looks straight up like, mostly he didn't change his figure. He does look like Issei Hyodo. It's just the fact that he's a little bit different. His hair is now permanently kind of dark brown, while his eyes are actually a kind of like brownish color, but it's dark brown, but yeah. This is where, it can actually become a bluish color or any of that when he's actually during battle. This is where, Issei is actually eating like a steak or whatever, and this is where the two girls are like eating whatever, but yeah. Now, this is where, the one of the girls was called the girl with snowy white skin is actually the most one to be brave to actually talk and more active to talk than the other girl because the other girl is shy and nervous. But yeah, this is where she introduced herself as being this is where she introduced herself being named Blanc, and of course this is where she then explains that her friend over there is named Noor. And this is where she then questions and what Issei's name exactly is. Issei looks up and says that his name is Issei. No last name, he doesn't explain any of that because he knows the other girls didn't explain, or mostly the girl in front of him. But yeah. Mr. Blanc kind of says, interesting, Issei. Sounds familiar. Are you the Red Dragon Emperor by any chance? Issei looks at her and says, no, I'm the Shadow Dragon. This is where, mostly Blanc nodded, but confusedly because she has never heard of a shadow dragon. He just says, I'm just a new dragon that just kind of got born a while ago. Don't mind about that. This is where, Blanc understood, and this is where, mostly Nora kind of just looks at Issei curiously, but this is where she then blushes and looks away because she got shy and nervous during Issei looking at her also, because Issei noticed her stare, And this is where, well, she was just looking away, but yeah. Blanc says, well, quite interesting. So, why are you here alone without someone going out with you or any of that? Issei says, what do you mean? Well, haven't you seen yourself? You look pretty good looking, handsome as hell. I'm surprised you're actually by yourself. That's where Issei kind of just turned the tables around and says, same with you. I'm surprised you two beautiful ladies are actually by yourself and not actually with a man or something like that. Or are you two swinging each other, unless you two are sisters, which I don't mind, blah blah blah, I don't judge or whatever. Blanc's face and even, well, the other girl kind of like blushes, and they just said that they're just sisters and they are just here because they're just hungry also. They could have gone to somewhere else, but mostly everyone would keep staring at them, so of course they just decided to go to a restaurant. This is where, well, Issei nodded and says the only reason he went to a restaurant because it was the closest thing to go. Literally, he teleported here, just kind of found his way here. This is where Blanc and Nora kind of just nodded, but yeah. This is where, well, we'll see Blanc says, but still, you don't have anyone to go out with? This is where, well, Issei then kind of just like grins a little bit and says, unless you're offering yourself, I wouldn't mind going out with such a beautiful, well, white rabbit like you. I should mention that also her friend kind of has like brownish, well, mostly not brownish ears, mostly so Nor kind of has like these black, well, mostly is brown, blackish kind of ears, but yeah, this is where she also has a tail, but yeah, that's where, well, she is kind of blushing and wondering if mostly Issei would question her out also. This is where Blanc kind of blushes and says, well, it's very flattering that you call me that. But this is where, well, she kind of just like cover her chest and mostly look at herself and says, I'm not that good looking, unlike my sister. Issei says, nonsense. Both of you are beautiful in your own ways. Mostly if people were going to look for curves, would have looked at your sister. But also that dark chocolate skin actually makes her much more beautiful than mostly just her curves. But nonsense, you yourself looks quite beautiful and attractive at all. With that nice snowy white hair and also snowy white skin, it's quite beautiful and quite tender. But I'm not the type to usually be going out with anyone, since mostly I had my heart broken before, so it's not really the point of me going out right now. It's mostly me just training. So yeah, this is where, well, mostly Blanc question and Issei's kind of like broken apart. Issei then sighs and says, well, you can say that I was going out with just one girl, but mostly with her friends, considering that to be kind of a harem. And I decided to just, well, find out that they were about to cheat on me. And what I mean about to cheat on me, they actually said it out loud and said that it's better for them to just cheat on me instead of going out with me, which kind of broke my heart. Of course, I decided to leave those before cheating bitches from ever kind of going out with them ever again. And I just left that school at all, entirely. This is where Blanc and Or kind of just hear this and they become saddened at Issei's story. Which, no, well, they did cheat on him. Mostly, well, Rias did cheat on him by mostly going out with that person and, of course, going into bed with him. But yeah, so, yeah, that did happen. Of course, the other girls did the exact same, but yeah, it wasn't about to cheat. It was literally them cheating already. And this is where, well, Issei says, well, other than that, if you want to hear my story fully, I did help her save this and other things. This is where Blanc and the other girl kind of hear about this and kind of just like become saddened at Issei's story and decides to kind of, well, mostly Blanc becomes brave enough, and this is where she kind of grabs her friend from mostly the shoulder and says, well, if you don't mind me and my, well, this is where Blanc and even, well, mostly Blanc kind of question if it's okay for her and mostly her sister to go out with Issei. Issei said that he doesn't mind, which mostly he really doesn't mind and doesn't care. So of course Issei says, sure, just don't expect me to be any good at dating, since that was supposed to be my first date before mostly hearing that they would rather cheat on me than ever go out with me. This is where, well, Blanc and Nor does understand. Well, let me say her name. So Noir and even Blake kind of just says that they would love to go out with Issei. So of course this is where we go into mostly them just talking a little bit more. And of course this is where they exchange numbers, and this is where Issei really doesn't mind exchanging numbers. He basically just uses a system to kind of talk to them if they ever want to text or whatever, but yeah. He can also use a phone, but yeah, it's basically the system or phone, whatever. Doesn't work well. He knows that he won't be able to add them in the system, so but he does have a storage thing about like system for like phone numbers or whatever. So that's the thing. Doesn't work well. He can actually connect the system with the phone, but yeah. But this is where Issei kind of just nodded happily at them, and this is where he walks away from them. This is where Drake questions if Issei do trust him. Issei says that it's fine. He trusts him. He can actually see liars from non-liars. That's where Drake says, "I'm so proud of you, Post. I'm so proud that you actually decide to get not just two, such beautiful women, but to decide to trust them and actually realize that they're not lying to you. They actually believe your story and are quite honest." This is where it says, "Yep, they're much more better than fucking red hair and the others." Ugh. I see, you just still don't actually accept them or even forgive them. Nope, I don't. What about the others like Rosawise, Raffle, and even Zenobia? Don't worry about that. Maybe I'll talk to Zenobia. I know she's stupid and in love, but maybe I can help her out. Yeah, you can actually show her the way. Yeah, I can. Wait a minute, isn't that just such a pervert? Drake? This is where Drake kind of grunts and says, "Well, I'll be going to sleep." Whatever, you overgrown lizard. This is where, Issei was about to start leaving until he felt like someone was about to attack him. He turns around and sees mostly this person with white hair, like white flaming hair, and this is where red eyes. This is where he was about to like swing a sword straight towards Issei, and Issei noticed that this is not the place to actually start fighting. So Issei makes a darkness portal for both him and this guy to actually land. He doesn't even know where he's kind of sending himself and this guy at. But we go into a different dimension. Mostly we go into someone kind of sparring with a kind of cat girl. Mostly a black hair cat girl with kind of two tails. This is where she's kind of like sparring with a white haired girl with bluish eyes. And this is where, the girl with cat, mostly the cat girl is named Kuroka. Kuroka says, "So, what's it called, Valerie? Nia, are you going to finally accept what's it called, the Red Dragon Emperor to be your partner now? Since he's considered a stray now, if you think about it. Have you ever heard of that news now? Since I managed to get that information a while ago." This is where, when Valerie was hearing this, she actually heard, when Chaos Brigade already found out that mostly Issei is a stray now. Mostly 1 month has already passed, and it's considered now that Issei is a stray. Even what's it called, Surgex was distraught, and even what's it called, as it was distraught to find out that Issei became a stray. Even Michael, but yeah. This is where, they were just shocked to believe that he became a stray. This is where, mostly the school being Sona, or mostly not the school being Sona. We go into Sona's POV, and Sona was also distraught. And even worse, just wondering if mostly his parents already know about the supernatural. If they do, then it would be bad, but mostly the girls, mostly the ORC girls, and even not Kika, mostly Kiba and Gasper were already kicked out of the house. And mostly both Issei's parents were thinking of moving away. But of course, mostly doubles were trying to kill them. Mostly like, not somewhat high-ranking doubles. When the high-ranking doubles tried to get close and tried to like touch mostly Issei, Issei's mother or father, they literally instantly die. Thanks to the necklace that they both wear and literally treasure forever, they can never be able to be killed or touched. Think of it like Rick Sanchez when he actually activated like something that when some like FBI agent tried to touch him, they died in an instant. Yeah, that's what high-ranking doubles happen to, die from. But yeah, nothing. Just painless nothing. But yeah. But not the point. We go into mostly Issei. We go into mostly Valerie kind of saying, "No, I'm not gonna make my whatever you talk about." This is where Cao appears saying, "So, we're gonna try to make the Red Dragon into our side since he's considered stray, right?" This is where, Valerie says, "And where do you think he's gonna come from? He's not just gonna come out of anywhere, right? He's not gonna just come out of the fucking thin air. just from whatever bullshit, right? This is where, well, Valerie is kind of getting annoyed from both Kuroka and even just Cow freaking antics and just getting annoyed at all. And even one girl kind of who was actually a yokai with Naito's questioning and where to find Issei or wanting Valerie to find Issei. Mostly this girl was named Aika. Now, of course, they're shocked to believe Aika wanted to kind of join them just to find Issei. Just a question of what happened to Issei entirely. Because mostly that whole double thing is on wraps, but yeah. But finding out that he was a stray, Aika was just distraught. Now, Aika was just sitting there, kind of watching mostly Valerie, and even Kuroka just kind of argue somewhat. This is where a portal appears. A black-purple portal appears from thin air. This is where two people fell out from the portal. And this is where Issei says, "Ow, my fucking head!" This is where the other person is kind of saying, "Oh, my head, son of a bitch! You stupid Shadow Monarch bastard!" This is where he says, "It's not my fault you're the asshole who dares to attack me in the fucking first place, dick." This is where, well, Issei said, this is where the other person says, "Well, I just tried to eliminate you in the first place." This is where he tries to swing the sword straight towards Issei. Issei grabbed that shit in an instant and decided to kick this guy in the side of the head, launching him away. Issei then grabs the sword without a care in the world, and Issei says, "Fuck you, prick. How about I kick your ass right the fuck now and show you what this fucking power can do?" This is where, well, the person grit his teeth, and right now his hair right now goes into a whitish flame, and this is where his eyes glow and says, "I'll show you the true power of the Demon Monarch." This is where, well, Issei said, "I feel like you haven't even reached that level, but your bitch ass still want to fight me still. For being an evil monarch, you're such a prick about things." This is where, well, the person says, "So you do know what I am. Well, you do know that I know what you are. Yes, I guess you should." This is where Issei pulls out his other sword, mostly one of his dragon twin blades, and this is where he then throws that large, well, mostly a long sword straight towards the not Shadow Monarch, mostly the White Flame Monarch being the Demon Monarch, and this is where he grabs it, and this is where he says, "I'll end your life, you pathetic monarch." Issei says, "Bring it on, you pathetic bitch." This is where Issei pulls out from his inventory the two twin katanas, mostly the twin dragon, twin-headed dragon katanas out, and this is where he says, "Hey, bring it on, you motherfucker." This is where, well, the White Flame Monarch was rushing straight towards Issei to get ready to destroy him, but this is where a bluish portal appeared right in front of what's it called, the White Flame Monarch, and of course grabbing him from the face and throwing him into the blue portal. This is where a blue elf monarch, well, person appeared. This is where it's actually the Ice Elf Monarch. This is where Issei says, "Oh, fuck, you're the Ice Elf Monarch. Are you here to fight me?" This is where the Ice Elf shaked his head and just walked away. And this is where Issei says, "That guy felt much more powerful than the White Flame Monarch prick. Whatever, I should probably be going." This is where he turns to the side because he feels a very familiar energy and sees Aika sitting down, Valerie kind of standing there right now shocked, with a very expression like a shocked face. Cow also there, just dumbfounded, and Kuroka right there looking with mostly heart in her eyes, and of course right now being really a horny cat. But yeah, this is where, well, mostly all of them are just looking at him with just dumb expression. But yeah, Issei says, "Oh shit, they're here." Issei say, "Hi, you don't see me. Bye, I'm going out of here." This is where mostly Issei makes a portal, but before leaving, this is where Cow tries to attack him, but this is where Issei managed to grab the mostly spear and then tries to cut his head off with mostly one of his katanas. This is where Issei says, "Die, bastard." This is where, well, mostly Valerie appears right in front, mostly tries to attack Issei because mostly, well, Issei's right in front of them. He's a stray. They want to capture him. This is where Valerie doesn't attack him, but of course, mostly Cow managed to dodge and managed to take the spear out of Issei's hand, but this is where Issei throws a dagger into Cow's chest, being the blue serpent dagger. This is where Cow freezes up and paralyzes it. "Wait, what the hell? I can't move!" Issei says, "Shadow Dragon Fist! Fuck you, Cow." This is where Issei slams the fist into Cow's face, slamming him into the ground. Bah! This is where Cow is just slammed to the ground. This is where Issei says, "I don't want to deal with your shit, but you're right now pissing me off, asshole." This is where Cow's like, "Oh, not this again." This is where, well, Issei said, "Yes, this again. Also, this is the second time I kicked your ass. When are you gonna learn? Please fuck off." This is where, well, Kuroka says, Issei, please give me your children. This is where she kind of said out loud, and this is where, well, also Aika appears, mostly grabbing the horny cat from mostly Issei, well, getting absolutely F by Issei. Well, not F by Issei, but mostly Kuroka effing Issei up, but yeah. By in a sexual way, not the other way, but yeah. This is where, well, mostly Valerie says, Issei? This is where, well, Issei says, hey Valerie, White Dragon Empress. This is where, well, Albion appears saying, Drake! I want to talk to you! Where have you been for the past month? Where have you been? This is where, well, Drake appears, purple kind of like godly appears and says, I've been somewhere, Albion, and that somewhere is me getting stronger while you become weaker and eat my dust. This is where, well, Albion says, also Drake, I want to ask you something. Why are you purple? This is where Drake says, shut the fuck up, you bastard. Shut up! I don't want to talk about it. This motherfucker, my host, somehow turned me purple. It's confusing, but we're no longer the Red Dragon Emperor, Albion, but instead, the Shadow Dragon. I am now considered more powerful than you, motherfucker. Well, mostly Drake is just hoping that Issei is much more powerful than the White Dragon, but yeah. And since mostly Valerie is considered to be a descendant of Lucifer, he's hoping his host is literally just much more powerful than Lucifer itself. This is where, well, then he was thinking about the whole fight against King Arthur, so maybe he's powerful. This is where, well, Issei said, yeah, we're the Shadow Dragon, and I'm going to go home now. This is where Valerie says, hold up, no, you don't. This is where Valerie grabs his hand and says, you're not going anywhere. This is where, well, Issei says, you're holding my hand. This is where, well, both Albion and Drake actually notice and say, hold up, bitch, what? This is where, well, Albion says, Valerie, do you even know what you're doing? This is where, well, Valerie says, what do you mean? This is where she kind of, like, holds up Issei's hand right in front of her own hand, because mostly she kind of just, like, lifts that shit up. And this is where she says, I'm holding his hand. This is where her face becomes blank in an instant, and her face becomes extremely red in an instant. This is where, well, she says, I'm so sorry. She just becomes a stuttering, like, schoolgirl mess in an instant. This is where, well, Issei kind of blushes in an instant how fucking adorable Valerie's being. And this is where, well, Issei says, it's fine, Valerie. It's really fine. Actually, I quite enjoyed it, if you don't mind me saying. This is where, well, mostly Valerie kind of blushes even more red after hearing Issei say that. Now, Issei is kind of using his mostly shadow monarch Riz up, well, mostly Riz, to Riz up Valerie, but yeah. This is where, well, Valerie's also blushing from the fact that Issei looks completely different. He kind of is at that state of being like Jin-Woo, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei says, besides, I don't mind if you hold my hand even more. Actually, I really wouldn't mind holding your hand during bedtime, or mostly during our little fun time. Issei said with such a very riz up voice, and this is where, well, Valerie's face becomes all red and blood actually appears from her nose. She already imagined what Issei was talking about, and she is knocked out. This is where, well, Kuroka and even, well, mostly Aika heard this, and this is where their faces become red. This is where Aika and even Kuroka heard what Issei said, and they wish they were, well, mostly they were literally Valerie in Valerie's position. And this is where bloodstream actually appear from their noses, but yeah. This is where Cao is barely trying to lift up, but this is where he says, the fuck is happening? I'm so tired. He passes out fully, but yeah. Since he literally got clocked in the face by Issei, by a powerful Shadow Dragon fist, but yeah. But other than that, I'm going to end it off here for part 3 of this What If. I will go on with part 4 later. But yeah, I should also mention that I fell down today. Don't mention how I fell down. I think I was so tired and asleep that I accidentally somehow, my legs didn't hear one command and I fell down. I tripped somehow. Literally tripped out of thin air. But whatever. Other than that, bye, see you, and yeah.